We're here with EFF Secretary General Marshall Dlamini. Marshall, yesterday your party leader Julius Malema was very optimistic in Polokwane. He said the EFF would get 65% of the vote there, but also make a great showing nationally. As we speak, the EFF is at 8% of the vote. It's still early, as I said, to only 21% of votes counted. How are you reading the results so far?
We know that as an organization, remember we had a limited time of campaign. There are areas that we know that these are our strongholds, and these are areas where, as an organization that is building up its voter base all over the country, these are areas where we know that we still had some weaknesses from our own internal assessment. So we're not panicking at all. We're saying it's still early. Let's watch once we approach the 50%. That result board is going to change dramatically. We just hope that other people, they've not started celebrating yet, because the ours, remember, it's a national project. So we are looking at that national vote, because that must count the most. Definitely in Limpopo, even now, we've already taken words in Polokwane. So we're coming fine. We're still confident that by the time the final count has been brought to us, it's going to be exactly what happened in 2016. Remember, no one gave us an opportunity until the final results came out, and then all of a sudden the whole country was shocked. So we are happy that we are still following the same trend as in 2016 in terms of our numbers coming in. Yes.
The EFF has said previously that it has its sights on the eThekwini municipality. Again, it's still early days, but coming from KZN yesterday, are you still confident that you will, if not be the majority, that's not looking likely now, but be a kingmaker in eThekwini? And just talk to me a little bit more about KwaZulu-Natal.
No, definitely. Look, I can tell you now that we are going for a lot of municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal. We are still confident again that eThekwini we're going to shock the country. But if that doesn't happen, we must know that most of municipalities, there's 44 municipalities there, most of them, if not all, there's not going to be any outright winner, because we're going to put a showing on all those municipalities from Ugu region, South Coast to Zululand region. We are there, our people, they were there. We managed to speak to those that we managed to speak to. Obviously, there's issues of voter turnout, but it's not an issue, because we need to do a proper analysis of this voter turnout in terms of who came out to vote. Is it young people? Is it old people? What kind of analysis and dynamics that affected that voter turnout? So we are still confident. As I'm sitting here, I'm still confident that by the time you invite me for your afternoon show, we'll be talking a different story while here.
But talk to me about voter turnout. Are you disappointed by the preliminary figures that we saw from yesterday?
Look, we are concerned, because the issue of voting, it's a constitutional right. It's what determines who must lead the country. And it's concerning when South Africans, they don't come out to vote. Because for us, if you don't come out to vote, it means you are losing interest in the country. And we're appealing to all South Africans and all the walks of life in the country. Don't give up on South Africa. Things might have been difficult. You might have been disappointed by different parties and different leaders, but never give up on South Africa, because giving up on South Africa is giving up to your life and the future of your children. And we cannot do that, regardless of how difficult conditions and things are.
In the past election, the IEC had raised a lot of the EFF had raised a lot of concerns with the IEC about possible irregularities. This time you guys have been a little bit more muted. Are you satisfied with how the IEC dealt with complaints yesterday?
Look, we're not satisfied, but we want to contribute to the building of this country. We have raised our issues in the MPLC.
What were your issues?
Firstly, the issues on the voter registration weekend. We had a lot of people that came to register and they were not found in the ballot. We did a lot of work as an organization for the voter registration weekend. And those machines, they collapsed halfway.
The voter management devices?
Yes, those devices, they collapsed halfway. And now, most of our people, they went there to cast their votes, and only to be told that you are not registered to vote. So that is an issue. That remember, even IEC, part of its own responsibility is voter education, and we don't think they are doing enough, because for the fact that the numbers are going down, it means themselves, it's a reflection on their performance, because part of their responsibility is to do voter education, like it was done in 1994 and and all the time, and we don't think they're doing enough. But we've raised our issues with them. That's why we don't want to dwell on it now. The results are in now. The voters have spoken. Let's wait for the results so that we don't come out as crybabies.
Yeah.
We're not that kind of an organization. We'll look at issues, we'll raise them. Once we're done, we'll move forward. What is the next step? And then we deal with that.
Up until this point, the EFF did not want to talk about coalitions because what you were saying was that the party wants to campaign to win. And now it's a very different picture because you're seeing hung municipalities and you're going to see a lot more hung municipalities, as you said. What is going to guide the EFF when coalition talks begin come Thursday?
We still don't know, but it's very simple. To all political parties, what is going to guide the EFF is our manifesto. They must just go and read each and every page from page one to the last page.
Where are you going to find parties that agree with your manifesto?
Then if they don't agree with our manifesto, because our manifesto is not a manifesto of leadership, it's a manifesto of the voters of the EFF. And we stick to that. If they don't agree with it, in 2016 they didn't agree with it, the voters, they said, sit on the opposition. We are not obsessed with getting into positions. We're not going to compromise the principle and the wishes of our voters for the sake of being mayors and MMCs. We are not driven by that. We are driven by the will of our voters. So if they don't want to listen to the will of our voters, us as leadership will go back to our voters and say, this is what you gave us opposition, we'll sit on the opposition. We're not rushing anywhere. We are building a national program where ours is it's a national focus to build an organization that is represented on all corners of South Africa. So we're not in a hurry to take any position.
So we're likely to see what we saw in Johannesburg where EFF would vote with their partner, but not particularly be in a coalition agreement and get positions and that kind of thing.
But remember, even with that voting with that partner, it was not informed by emotions. It was informed by them reading our manifesto, agreeing on issues like insourcing, right, making sure that they prioritize the budget to the areas that have been forgotten and left unattended by the ruling party. And we did exactly that. And media would know that the issues of land, when the DA, they went to Cape Town in Parliament to reject our motion on the amendment of Section 25. That's when we left Parliament, we went straight to PE to remove trolling. So it was not emotional, it was on the basis of that. So that once you change and you don't do as we agree, we know that we did not sign any life contract with you. We can just walk away. But
what about the instability that it brings to residents? And because as we saw in Tshwane, where the DA said, to Randall Williams, for example, the EFF said to Randall Williams, the DA leader, we gave you your blue lights and we can take it away. So that kind of instability that persists because there's no formal agreement in place that will sustain for a 5-year term.
Look, it was not as simple as, I know the sound bites, they come like that, we gave you blue lights. It was not an issue of blue lights, it was an issue of saying, prioritize our areas. Okay. Prioritize the areas of Hammanskraal, Soshanguve and everywhere. When they said, no, want to go and cut grass in suburbs in Centurion, we said, that's not what we agreed on. So you go and do it on your own. Look, the voters of South Africa are the ones who are electing parties. It's not us. But what would be injustice and dishonest to our voters is when they said, we are giving you these votes, even if it's 10% or 15%, this is what we want. And then for our own selfish interests, we say to be an MMC or to be a mayor, let's go and take and ignore all those things. That the voters will punish us going forward, and that's a risk we're not prepared to take.
All right, finally, Marshall Dlamini, you're at 8% or so now. By the end of voting, what is, give us a figure, 14%, 15%?
No, we're looking at towards 30, or 14, no. That will be robbery.
Close to 30?
Yeah, we should be sitting around 30.
At the end of voting?
At the end of the voting.
Okay, you hear it now.
Let's count. 30 with majority in most municipalities.
We will definitely talk again.
No, I'm here. That's why we're here, so that to make sure that we are not right. So that you can, also we can speak for ourselves. We don't speak on our behalf. We're here, so we'll come back.
Thank you very much. Marshall Dlamini is the EFF Secretary General. Thank you so much for joining us.